What's going on, guys? SmallGuard here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my top 5 builds in season 4 of NBA 2K26. Now the 5 builds I'm going to be breaking out in today's video are going to be some of my favorite point guard builds I've used throughout the year, even some brand new ones I haven't showed you guys yet. And with my top 5 builds I'm going to be showing in today's video, they can be used if you have a ton of cap breakers or little to none, so make sure you guys go in and watch the entire video, as I'm going to be breaking down where to put all your cap breakers on your build, what build specialization I'm going to use, where to put all your max plus 1s and max plus 2s. Let's go and get 1500 likes on the video. If you guys want a brand new season 4 dribble tutorial, and if you guys want a brand new gameplay video, as I have been seeing the comments and you guys want a gameplay video very badly, if you're new, go ahead and hit that sub button, hit that like button, and turn on post notifications. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let's get right into it. Now a lot of people may be wondering, what is my favorite point guard build to use in NBA 2K26? And to start off our top 5 builds, we're going to be taking a look at my 6'1", which is easily my favorite point guard build in the game. So you want to go position point guard, height 6'1", weight 160, and wingspan 6'2". Now let's get right into me breaking down my favorite point guard build. Right here with our finishing, you want to go with a 69 close shot, a 78 driving layup, an 83 driving dunk, a 25 standing dunk, and a 33 post control. And with our 83 driving dunk and our 63 vertical, as you guys know by now with all my small point guard builds, I love to go with an 83 driving dunk and a 63 vertical, because with an 83 driving dunk, you're gonna unlock some great dunk packages off rip without cap breakers, like Flashy Hangs Off 1 and Devin Booker's dunk package as well. So let's say you just bought NBA 2K26 and you have no cap breakers, or maybe you don't have a lot of cap breakers like me. The 83 driving dunk is still gonna be perfect, but with our 83 driving dunk and our 63 vertical, it's also gonna give us great flexibility with cap breakers as well, because if we use one cap breaker on our driving dunk to move it from an 83 up to an 87 driving dunk, and we use 3 cap breakers on our vertical to move it from a 63 up to a 75. Now with our 87 driving dunk and our 75 vertical, we're gonna unlock contact dunks, get posterizer on silver, and unlock some other great dunk packages as well. Now moving on over here to our shooting, you want to go with an 84 mid-range, a 94 3-pointer, and a 69 free. Now with our 94 3-pointer, we're gonna get all our shooting badges on gold, and if you don't have any cap breakers or you don't have a lot, a 94 3-pointer is gonna be perfectly fine. But if you do have cap breakers and you've been watching me for a while, we're gonna want to get our 3-pointer to a 99 3-pointer, but we can go in and get all legend shooting badges. So to go ahead and get our 99 3-pointer, we're gonna use 5 cap breakers to move it from a 94 up to a 99. Now before we move on to our playmaking, I have a lot of people asking if they should go with their shooting build specialization, although we're gonna get a 99 3-pointer already, and I like to go in and cover this in every build video. If you do have enough cap breakers and you can get up to that 99 3-pointer, I wouldn't recommend using your shooting build specialization, because in your shooting build specialization, you're gonna get 2 cap breakers, a max plus 1 and a max plus 2 you can use on any shooting stat. And if you do go with your shooting build specialization while already having a 99 3-pointer, that max plus 1 and max plus 2 are going to be empty, because all your shooting badges are going to be on legend. But let's say you don't have enough cap breakers to get to a 99 3-pointer, then I would recommend to go and use your shooting build specialization. So you then can use your max plus 1 and max plus 2 you get from your shooting build specialization to get your shooting badges up to legend. Now moving on to our playmaking, you want to go with an 85 pass accuracy, a 93 ball handle, and a 90 speed with ball. Now before I go in and break down any of our playmaking stats, we're going to be using our playmaking build specialization, and with our playmaking build specialization, we're going to get 2 cap breakers, a max plus 1 and a max plus 2. Now let's get right into breaking down our playmaking stats. With our 85 pass accuracy, we're going to get bailout on bronze, break starter on silver, dimer on gold, and versatile visionary on gold as well. Now with us having dimer on gold, it's not going to be too bad at all, but we can go in and get it even higher. If we go in and use our regular tier 2 max plus 2 that we get from our battle pass, we can go in and move our dimer from gold up to legend. Staying on our pass accuracy with our bronze bailout. Bailout is going to be a very important badge for any small point guard on NBA 2K26, and having it on bronze isn't going to be too bad. But if people are double teaming you and they start holding trapper, especially when using a small point guard, it may happen a lot because you're going to be using screens, and bronze bailout just isn't going to be enough. So we're going to use our playmaking max plus 2 to move our bailout from bronze up to gold. And one last thing with our pass accuracy, we're going to be looking at our versatile visionary. Now with versatile visionary, it's going to make your passes even better, and having it on gold isn't going to be too bad at all. But if we use our tier 1 max plus 2, we can move it all the way up to the legend. Now coming down here to our 93 ball handle. Now if you don't have any cap breakers or you have very few, our 93 ball handle is actually going to be perfect, because with the 93 ball handle, you're going to get handles for days on gold and ankle assassin on gold as well. You're going to unlock every elite dribble move in the game for a small point guard. But if you do have a lot of cap breakers like me, we're actually going to use 5 cap breakers to move our ball handle from a 93 up to a 98 ball handle. And now with our 98 ball handle, we're going to get legend ankle assassin and legend handles for days as well. But another great badge we're going to get as well is unpluckable on Hall of Fame. Now with our Hall of Fame unpluckable, we're going to use our playmaking max plus 1 to move our unpluckable from Hall of Fame up to legend. Now moving down here to our 90 speed with ball. A 90 speed with ball isn't going to be bad on a small point guard at all, but when you're playing on a 6'1" point guard build, you're going to need your lightning launch to be a lot higher than gold. Now I'm going to give you 3 different options on what you can do with this 90 speed with ball. If you don't have any cap breakers and you want to get your lightning launch up to legend, I said earlier that you can use your tier 1 max plus 2 on your versatile visionary to go in and move that from gold up to legend. But what you could do as well in the instance of you having no cap breakers, you put your gold lightning launch on your tier 1 max plus 2 to then move it it up to legend. Now our second option, if you do have cab breakers but you don't have a lot, you can use one cab breaker on your 90 speed ball to move it from a 90 speed ball up to a 91 so you can get lightning launch on Hall of Fame. And with option number 2, you can use your tier 1 max +1. Move your lightning launch from Hall of Fame up to legend in that way. And you can go in and do option number 3 like I did, to put 4 cab breakers on your 90 speed ball to move it from gold up to legend lightning launch. Now moving on to our defense, I know it may not look like a lot, but let me go ahead and break it down. You want to go with the 54 interior and 80 perimeter defense, a 94 steal, and a 57 block. Now I usually like to have a high perimeter defense on my 6'1" point guard build, even though a lot of people will tell you that a 6'1" is going to be too short to even get contests. From my experience playing on small point guard builds, I do get great contests with a high perimeter and challenger being on Hall of Fame and above. Now looking at this 80 perimeter defense, you may look at it and say we only get challenger on bronze, which you're definitely going to be correct, but we actually can go and get challenger on Hall of Fame, and here's how. We're going to use one cab breaker to move our perimeter defense from an 80 up to an 82, and with an 82 perimeter defense, we're going to get challenger on silver. And then now with our silver challenge, I mentioned earlier that we can use our tier 1 max +2 on our versatile visionary to move it up to legend, but another great option that we can go in and do as well is to go ahead and use it on our silver challenger to move it up to Hall of Fame. And now, although we are only going to get an 82 perimeter defense, we're still going to get challenger on Hall of Fame and should have no issue getting contests. Now moving down here to our 94 steal. With our 94 steal, we're going to get glove on gold and interceptor on Hall of Fame. With our Hall of Fame interceptor, we're going to use our crew tier 1 max +1 to move our interceptor up to legend. And with our Hall of Fame challenger and interceptor being on legend, that should go in and give us some great defense on this 6'1" point guard build. And to go in and finish off the build, you want to go with a 91 speed and 84 agility, a 35 strength, and a 63 vertical. Now right here, getting into an updated version of a 6'8" point guard build I just posted. You're going to go position shooting guard, height 6'8", weight 185, and wingspan 6'8" as well. Now let's get right into breaking down my updated 6'8" point guard build. Now moving on to our finishing, you want to go with a 76 close shot, a 70 driving layup, an 81 driving dunk, a 45 standing dunk, and a 51 post control. Now right here with our 81 driving dunk and our 80 vertical, an 81 driving dunk isn't going to be too bad on a 6'8" point guard build, but with this brand new 6'8" point guard build, we're going to be ISO, and we're going to need our driving dunk to be a lot higher than the 81, and we're definitely going to need our posterizer to be higher than bronze. And having contact dunks is going to be very important on a 6'8" ISO build, and we're just not going to be getting everything we need at an 81 driving dunk. So we're going to need to use 4 cab breakers to move our driving dunk from an 81 up to a 94. Now with our 94 driving dunk and our 80 vertical, we're going to get everything we need. We're going to get posterizer on gold, contact dunks, and some even more crazy dunk packages. Now coming over here to our shooting, you want to go with the 91 mid-range and 89 3-pointer and a 66 free throw. Now you may be wondering what build specialization am I going to go in and use. We're going to be using our shooting build specialization, because using our shooting build specialization on our 6'8" point guard build, it's going to give us the ability to get all legend shooting badges. I'm going to go in and break down how we're going to exactly get all legend shooting badges. With the 91 mid-range, we're going to get all our shooting badges on silver and gold. But now here's where our shooting build specialization is going to be so important. With our shooting build specialization, we're going to get 2 cab breakers, a max +1 and a max +2 we can use on any shooting stat. So we're going to start by using 2 cab breakers on our 91 mid-range. And now with our 93 mid-range, it's going to give us all gold and Hall of Fame shooting badges. We're then going to use 3 cab breakers to move our mid-range from a 93 up to a 96. And now with our 96 mid-range, we're going to get all our shooting badges on Hall of Fame. Now it's going to be great, we're going to have all our shooting badges on Hall of Fame, but we can get them even higher by starting off with our shooting build specialization max +1 to move our set shot specialist from Hall of Fame up to legend. Then we can use our crew tier 1 max +1 to move our deadeye from Hall of Fame up to legend as well. And finally, we're going to use our regular tier 1 max +1 to move our shifty shooter from Hall of Fame up to legend. And now that is going to give us all our shooting badges on legend, except for our limitless range being on silver, which I'm about to go in and break down how we can get it even higher. With our 89 3-pointer, we're going to get limitless range on silver, which is going to be perfect, but we're going to be missing out on one thing, and that's going to be our D-bomber takeover ability we get at a 93 point. So we're going to need to use 1 cab breaker to move our 3-pointer from an 89 up to a 90. Now that we have our 93 pointer, we have our D-bomber takeover ability. We're going to come back to our limitless range beyond silver, and we're going to use our shooting build specialization max +2 to move our limitless range from silver up to Hall of Fame. Now moving on to our playmaking, you want to go with a 92 pass accuracy, an 85 ball handle, and an 80 sweep with ball. Now with our 92 pass accuracy, we're going to get a bunch of very important playmaking badges, and the 2 most important ones are going to be bailout on silver and dimer on Hall of Fame. Now bailout is going to be so important on any point guard, because if you are getting double team or even need to pass off a shot or a dunk, bailout on silver is going to be a lot better than having bailout on bronze. And with us having dimer on Hall of Fame, we're going to be able to move our dimer up to legend pretty easily by using our crew tier 2 max +1 to move up to legend. And another very amazing thing we're going to get with a 92 pass accuracy is Darius Garland's pass down, and his pass down is going to be the best in the game if you're going with a 92+ pass accuracy. Now coming down here to our 85 ball handle, all you're ever going to need with a 6'8" ISO point guard build is an 85 ball handle, although a lot of people do go with an 86 ball handle. And the only difference between having an 86 and an 85 ball handle is going to be ankle assassin on silver, and you're also going to get James Harden sigs. So if you do want to go in and get any of those 2 things at an 86 ball handle, you can use 1 cab breaker to go in and do so. But besides that, with our 85 ball handle, we're going to be taking a look at our silver handles for days. Now silver handles handles for days is going to be very low on a 6'8" point guard build in my opinion. I would recommend to at least have handles for days on Hall of Fame, so you have the ability to dribble and get wide open without getting tired too quickly. And that is exactly what we're going to be doing with our 6'8" ISO point guard build. We're going to be using our regular tier 1 max +2 to move our handles for days from silver up to Hall of Fame. Now coming down here with our 80 speed with ball. With an 80 speed with ball, we're going to get lightning launch on silver, and that is going to be a little bit too low to have on a 6'8" ISO point guard build. So we're going to be using our regular tier 2 max +2, move our lightning launch from silver up to Hall of Fame to make our player a lot quicker. Now moving on to our defense, you want to go with a 60 interior, a 90 perimeter defense, a 73 steal, and a 46 block. Now right here with our 90 perimeter defense, we're going to get challenger on silver, and challenger on silver isn't going to be too bad at all, but we can get our challenger even as high as Hall of Fame or even legend. Here's exactly how we're going to go in and do that. Your first option you can go in and do, you can use 2 cab breaks to move your 90 perimeter defense up to a 92, and with the 92 perimeter defense, you're going to get challenger on gold. Now with our gold challenger, we can get it even higher if we use our crew tier 1 max +1, move it from gold up to Hall of Fame. And I know I said you can use your crew tier 1 max +1 to move your deadeye up to legend. Moving your challenger up to Hall of Fame can be another great option. And if you want to go and get your challenger on legend, first we're going to need to move our perimeter defense from a 92 up to a 95 so we can get Hall of Fame challenger. So we're going to use 3 cab breaks to go and do that. And now once we get up to our 95 perimeter defense with our Hall of Fame challenger, we can once again use our crew tier 1 max +1 and move our challenger from Hall of Fame up to legend. And coming down here to our 46 block, we're going to be using 4 cab breaks to move our block from a 46 up to a 74. And now with us getting that 74 block, we're going to get way better contest when contesting jump shots. And we're going to unlock high flying denier and paint patroller on bronze. And to go in and finish off the build, you want to go with an 87 speed and an 85 agility, a 55 strength, and an 80 vertical. Now right here, moving on to a build I haven't showed you guys. You're going to go position point guard, height 6'2", weight 165, and wingspan 6'3". Now let's get right into breaking down this brand new point guard build. Starting off with my finishing, you want to go with a 69 close shot, a 75 driving layup, and 83 driving dunk, a 29 standing dunk, and a 30 post control. Now with an 83 driving dunk and a 63 vertical, it's not going to be too bad on a small point guard at all. Even with our 83 driving dunk and our 63 vertical, we're not going to get too many good dunk packages at all, and we're only going to get posterizer on bronze. But we're going to need to use 1 cab breaker to move our driving dunk from an 83 up to an 87, and then we need to use 3 cab breakers to move our driving dunk from a 63 up to a 75. And now with our 87 driving dunk and our 75 vertical, we're going to unlock posterizer on silver, unlock some great dunk packages, and even get contact dunks as well. Now moving on to our shooting, you want to go with an 84 mid-range, a 94 3-pointer, and a 69 free throw. Now right here with our 94 3-pointer, we're going to get all our shooting badges on gold, which isn't going to be too bad at all. But the reason why you should ever even be on a small point guard is to always try to get a 99 3-pointer so you can get all legend shooting. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing with our 94 3-pointer. We're going to be using 5 cab breakers to move our 3-pointer from a 94 up to a 99 3-pointer. So we now can go and get all legend shooting badges and make this build even more overpowered. And if you're wondering about going with your shooting build specialization on any small point guard build, not going to be worth it, because with your 99 3-pointer, you're going to have all your shooting badges on legend. With your shooting build specialization, you're going to get a max +1 and a max +2 for your badges. And with you already having all legend shooting badges, you're going to be wasting that max +1 and max +2. So you always want to go in and pick your playmaking build specialization, and here's why. Moving on to our playmaking, you want to go with an 87 pass accuracy, a 90 ball handle, and a 90 speed with ball. Now with our 87 pass accuracy, we're going to get all our passing playmaking badges on bronze and gold. The main badge I want to go in and focus on is our dimer being on gold. Now dimer on gold isn't going to be too bad at all, but we can go in and get it even higher if we use our tier 2 max +2 to move our dimer from gold up to legend. Now coming down here to my 90 ball handle. 90 ball handle is going to be great if you do, or even if you don't have cap breaks. So with the 90 ball handle, you're going to unlock most of the great sigs you need on a small point guard. You're going to be missing, in my opinion, one of the most important sigs on the game for any small point guard, and that is going to be Stephen Curry's behind the back, which is going to require you to have a 92 ball handle. And if you didn't already, with our playmaking build specialization, we're going to get a max +1, a max +2, and 2 cap breakers we can use on any playmaking stat. So we're going to use our 2 playmaking build specialization cap break to move our ball handle from a 90 up to a 92. And now with that 92 ball handle, we're going to unlock all the great sigs we need on a small point guard. But we're not going to stop right there at a 92 ball handle. We're actually going to go and use 1 more cap breaker to move our ball handle from a 92 up to a 93. You're going to get ankle assassin on gold, and I'm about to explain how that's going to be very important. Now with our 93 ball handle, not only are we going to get ankle assassin on gold, but we're also going to have handles for days on gold as well. So we're going to start by using our playmaking build specialization max +2, move our handles for days from gold up to legend. Then we're going to use our tier 1 max +2 to move our ankle assassin from gold up to legend as well. Now coming down here to my 90 speed with ball. 90 speed with ball isn't going to be too bad at all on a small point, but we're going to need our speed with ball to get up to a 91. We can get our lightning launch on Hall of Fame. So we're going to use 1 cap breaker to move our speed with ball from a 90 up to a 91. And now with our Hall of Fame lightning launch, we're going to use our playmaking build specialization max +1 to move our lightning launch from Hall of Fame up to legend. Now right here, moving on to our defense, you want to go with a 55 interior, 72 perimeter defense, and 92 steal, and a 59 block. Now right here with our 72 perimeter defense, this is going to be a lot lower than I go with my perimeter defense on all my small point guard builds, because I usually try to go and get that 82 perimeter defense to get challenger on silver so I can either max +2 or even max +1 it up to gold or Hall of Fame. But I figured out you really don't need that high of a perimeter defense, especially if you're not guarding ball and you're only sitting corner on your small point. So we're going to have our challenger on bronze, but we're really not going to get any other good defensive badges on this build. And it's good to have some defensive badges, especially if you plan on switching on ball here and there, and if you need to play a little bit of defense for a couple seconds. So that is why we're going to use one cap breaker to move our perimeter defense from a 72 up to a 74. Now with our 74 perimeter defense, you're going to get all defensive badges on bronze. Now you could go ahead and leave your challenger on bronze if you want to, but you also can use your regular tier 1 max +1 to go ahead and move your challenger up to silver if you want. Now coming down here to my 92 steal, a 92 steal is going to be great on a small point guard build, as we're going to get glove and interceptor on gold. But to go in and get interceptor on Hall of Fame, all we're missing is 2 more attribute points to go in and get to that 94 steal. So we're going to use one cap breaker to move our steal from a 92 up to a 94. And now with our 94 steal, we're going to get interceptor on Hall of Fame. But now we're going to use our crew tier 1 max +1 to move our Hall of Fame interceptor up to the legend. And to go in and finish off the build, you want to go with a 92 speed and 88 agility, a 35 strength, and a 63 vertical. Now right here, we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite 6'8 point guard builds I've made all year, along with my brand new updated 6'8 point guard I have in this video. You want to go position shooting guard, height 6'8, weight 185, and wingspan 6'9. Now let's go in and get to breaking down our brand new build and where I'm going to put all my cap breaks. Right here with our finishing, you want to go with a 75 close shot, a 70 driving layup, a 77 driving dunk, a 46 standing dunk, and a 50 post control. Now on our brand new 6'8 ISO point guard build, our dunk is going to need to be a lot higher than a 77 driving dunk. So with the 77 driving dunk and an 80 vertical, you're not going to get too many good dunk packs. You're also not going to get contact dunks or even post drives. And those two things are going to be very important on a 6'8 ISO point guard build. But the reason why we're going to have our dunk so low at a 77 driving dunk is because we actually can go in and use cap breakers to get it all the way up to a 95 driving dunk. And to do that, all we're going to need to use is 5 cap breakers. And once we've used 5 cap breakers to move our driving dunk from a 77 up to a 95, with our 95 driving dunk and our 80 vertical, we're going to get all the good contact dunks we need on a 6'8 ISO point. We're going to unlock some insane dunk packages that do require a 94 and a 95 driving dunk. Most importantly, we're going to unlock post drives on goal. One more thing I want to cover with every 6'8 point guard build I show you guys is that if you're going to use any of my 6'8 point guard builds as a template, make sure you always have a 40+ standing dunk, as you're going to need to get LeBron James's dunk package. And LeBron's dunk package is easily going to be one of the best in the game, so you don't want to miss out. Now moving on to our shooting, you want to go with a 90 mid-range, an 87 3-pointer, and a 65 free-throw. Now you guys may ask, what build specialization are we going to even use? And in this case, on our brand new 6'8 point guard build, we're going to be using our shooting build specialization. Now with our shooting build specialization, we're going to get 2 cap breakers, a max +1 and a max +2. We're going to go in and break down how our shooting build specialization is going to make this build even more overpowered. Now starting off with our 90 mid-range, all of our shooting badges right now are going to be on silver and gold, but we're going to need to get most of our shooting badges up to Hall of Fame. And in order to do that, we're going to need to use cap breakers once again. So you're going to need to use 5 cap breakers to move your 90 mid-range up to a 95. And now with our 95 mid-range, we're going to get all our shooting badges on Hall of Fame, except for shifty shooter, which is going to be on gold. Once we use our 5 cap breakers to get our mid-range up to a 95, and to get all our shooting badges on Hall of Fame and gold, that's actually not going to be it, because we can get all our shooting badges on legend. Starting with our set shot specialist being on Hall of Fame, we use our max +1 that we get from our shooting build specialization. We can move our set shot specialist from Hall of Fame up to legend. Then if we go over to our max +2 that we get from our shooting build specialization, we can go in and use it on our gold shifty shooter to move it all the way up to legend as well. Finally, for Hall of Fame Deadeye, we can use our crew tier 1 max +1 to move our Hall of Fame Deadeye up to legend as well. And now all 3 of those shooting badges are going to be on legend. Go in and pair with our 95 driving dunk, which is going to make our 6'8 point guard build even more overpowered. Now coming down here to our 87 3-pointer. The 87 3-pointer isn't going to be too bad on a 6'8 point guard build, but we're going to be missing 2 very important thresholds we're going to need to meet. The first threshold we're going to need to get is that 89 3-pointer, so we can move our limitless range from bronze up to silver. And the second threshold we're going to need to meet on a 6'8 point guard is a 90 3-pointer, so we can get D-bomber takeover ability. So in order to make sure we meet both of those thresholds, we're going to use 2 cap breakers that we get from our shooting build specialization, move our 3-pointer from an 87 up to an 89, but we now can get limitless range on silver. And we're going to use 1 more regular cap breaker to move our 3-pointer from an 89 up to a 90, so we can get that D-bomber takeover ability. And we're not going to be done with our shooting just yet, as having limitless range on silver is going to be nice, but we can go and get it even higher if we go and use our regular tier 1 max +1 that that we get from our battle pass. We move our limitless range from silver all the way up to gold. Now moving on to our playmaking, you want to go with an 85 pass accuracy, an 85 ball handle, and an 80 speed with ball. Now right here, an 85 pass accuracy is going to be a sweet spot you see a lot of 6'8" point guard builds go with, and that is because you're going to get the best pass style in the game in De'Aaron Fox. And bailout is going to be a very important badge for any point guard of any height to have. But the one passing playmaking badge I want to go in and focus is our dimer being on gold. And dimer on gold is going to be nice, but we actually can go in and get it even higher if we use our regular tier 2 max +1 that we get from our battle pass. We can then move our dimer from gold up to Hall of Fame. Now coming down here to our 85 ball handle, you may see a ton of 6'8" point guards have an 86 ball handle instead of an 85. What a lot of people have started to realize is that an 85 and an 86 ball handle are basically going to be the same thing. The only two things you're going to get differently from an 85 to an 86 ball handle is with an 86 ball handle, you're going to lie James Harden sigs and add an 86 ball handle as well. Instead of getting ankle assassin on bronze, you're going to get it on silver. So me personally, I'm going to keep that 85 ball handle. If you do want to go to an 86 ball handle, you can go in and use one cap breaker to do so. But what I want to go in and focus on with our 85 ball handle is our silver handles for days. Now silver handles for days to me is going to be very low because I love to dribble the ball a ton, and with handles for days on silver, your energy can run out very quickly and you may not even have enough stamina left to go in and shoot a jump shot. So we're going to use our tier 1 max +2 to move our handles for days from silver up to Hall of Fame. Now coming down here to our 80 speed with ball, it's going to be very important on a 6'8" point guard build that you have your speed with ball as high as possible because your speed with ball is going to control how fast you do dribble moves. So having it maxed out at 80 compared to a 75 speed with ball is going to be very important because although at a 75 speed with ball you're going to get lightning launch on silver, it's just going to be way too slow. Now speaking of us getting lightning launch on silver, we can get our lightning launch even higher if we use our tier 2 max +2, move it from silver up to Hall of Fame. And having a Hall of Fame lightning launch is going to be so important on a 6'8" point guard build. Now moving on to our defense, we want to go with a 60 interior, 92 perimeter defense, an 85 steal, and a 47 block. Now when I was coming back to making 6'8" point guard builds, I seen a ton of people argue that you should either go 92 perimeter defense with a 73 steal or an 85 perimeter defense with an 85 steal, but I haven't seen anyone yet get both in the build. And as you can see with my brand new 6'8" point guard build, you're going to get both a 92 perimeter defense and an 85 steal. Now with our 92 perimeter defense, we're going to get all our defensive badges on gold, but the main one I want to go into focus on is our challenger on gold. Now having challenger on gold on a 6'8" point guard build isn't going to be too bad at all, but we can get it even higher all the way up to legend if we want. And here's exactly how we're going to do it. As you can see on our brand new 6'8" ISO build, that 92 perimeter defense is not going to be our max potential. Our max potential on this build is going to be a 95 perimeter defense. And with the 95 perimeter defense, you're going to get challenger on Hall of Fame. But in order to even get to a 95 perimeter, you're going to need to use 3 cap breakers to move our 92 perimeter defense up to a 95. And now with our Hall of Fame challenge, I did say earlier that you can use your regular tier 1 max +1. You're in limitless range to move it from silver up to gold. But right here, another great option that you can go and use is going to be your Hall of Fame challenger to move it up to legend. Now coming down here to our 85 steal, with an 85 steal, you're going to get glove on silver and interceptor on gold. And that interceptor on gold is why a lot of people want that 85 steal on a 6'8" point guard. And finally, coming down here to our 47 block. Now having a high block is going to be very important on a 6'8" point guard build because when having a high block, as you can see right here from a graph from NBA2KLives.com, you're going to get even better jump contests. So we're going to use 4 cap breakers to move our block from a 47 up to a 74. Now with their 74 block, you're going to get high flying denier on bronze and paint patroller on bronze as well. Now to go in and finish off our build, you want to go with an 87 speed and an 84 agility, a 57 strength and an 80 vertical. Now right here, getting into one of my favorite 6'4" point guards I've made all year. You're going to go position point guard, height 6'4", weight 175, and wingspan 6'4" as well. Now let's go ahead and get right into breaking down our build. For my finishing, you want to go with a 70 close shot, a 75 driving layup, an 83 driving dunk, a 28 standing dunk, and a 40 post control. And with that 83 driving dunk, it's not going to be too bad at all. We're still going to be able to dunk the ball whenever we need to. But with cap breakers, we can get even better dunks and we can unlock posterizer on silver. But right here with our driving dunk, if we use 1 cap breaker to move it up to an 87 driving dunk, and we can use 3 cap breakers to move our vertical from a 63 up to a 75. We're now going to get posterizer on silver. We're going to get contact dunks and unlock way better dunk packages as well. Now moving on to our shooting, you want to go with an 85 mid-range, a 94 3-pointer, and a 69 free throw. Now moving down to my 94 3-pointer. As always, if you ever see me making a build, I have a 94 3-pointer in the build. That always means that we're trying to get that 99 3-pointer. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to use 5 cap breakers to move our 3-pointer from a 94 up to a 99 to give us all legend shooting badge. Now with our playmaking, you want to go with an 87 pass accuracy, a 90 ball handle, and an 88 speed with ball. Now with our 87 pass accuracy, we're going to get dimer, versatile visionary, and break starter on gold. And we're going to get bailout on bronze. And with my gold dimer, I'm going to use my tier 2 max +2 to move it from gold up to legend. And with our playmaking build specialization, we're going to get 2 cap breakers, a max +1, and a max +2. We're then going to use our playmaking max +1 on versatile visionary to move it up to Hall of Fame. For our playmaking build specialization max +2 and 2 cap breakers, I'm about to explain where to put that right now. But first, moving down here to our 90 ball handle. A 90 ball handle is not going to be too bad at all on a 6'4" point guard. But you're going to need that 92 ball handle in order to unlock all the good sigs for a small point guard. So we're going to go and use 2 cap breakers to move our ball handle from a 90 up to a 92. And with our 92 ball handle, on top of us unlocking all the good sigs in the game, we're going to get handles for days on gold, which we're then going to use our playmaking max +2 to move our handles for days from gold up to legend. And moving down here to our 88 speed with ball, we're going to get lightning launch on gold, which is not going to be too bad at all on a 6'4" point guard. But we're going to want that 91 speed with ball for lightning launch on Hall of Fame. Now there's not going to be an issue with you having lightning launch on gold, then using your regular tier 1 max +2 to move it up to legend. But if we go ahead and use 1 regular cap breaker on our speed with ball to move it up to an 89, we use our 2 cap breakers that we get from our playmaking build specialization to now move it up to a 91 speed with ball. We're going to get lightning launch on Hall of Fame, and instead of wasting a tier 1 max +2, we can now just use a tier 1 max +1 to move our lightning launch from Hall of Fame up to legend. And then we can leave our tier 1 max +2 wide open. Now moving on to our defense, you want to go with a 43 interior, 79 perimeter defense, and 82 steal, and a 57 block. Right here with our 79 perimeter defense, we're going to get challenger on bronze. And to get challenger on silver, we're going to need an 82 perimeter defense. So we're going to use 1 cap breaker to move our perimeter defense from a 79 up to an 82. And now with that 82 perimeter defense, we're going to get challenger on silver. Now when I was talking about my speed with ball, I said it's going to be very important to have a 91 speed with ball so we can leave our tier 1 max +2 wide open. And right here, this is going to be for that exact reason. We're going to use our tier 1 max +2 to move our challenger from silver up to Hall of Fame. And Hall of Fame challenger on a 6'4" is going to be amazing. Now moving down here to my 82 steal, we're going to get glove and interceptor on silver. But to go ahead and get interceptor on gold, we're going to need an 85 steal. But we're going to use 1 cap breaker to move our steal from an 82 up to an 85. And now with our 85 steal and us having interceptor on gold, we're going to use our crew tier 1 max +1 to move our interceptor from gold up to Hall of Fame. And to go ahead and finish off the build, you want to go with an 88 speed and 83 agility, a 39 strength, and a 63 vertical.